May I come in, sir?
Please come in.
May I take a seat, sir?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
May I take a seat?
Please take a seat.
Thank you.
You are G. SAHI DARSINI.
Yes, sir.
Please introduce yourself.
Sir, I'm SAHI DARSINI. I hail from Telangana. My majority of my schooling has been done from Telangana itself. And I've done my graduation from IIT Patna in civil engineering. And post that, I had a brief work experience at Hindustan Petroleum. And then since then, I've been preparing for civil services, sir.
Why did you give up that job in Hindustan Petroleum, which is a very prestigious company?
Sir, actually, when I entered into the company, I wanted to stay in. I had the civil services aim in my background. And at the same time, I wanted to analyze if I would be staying for long in the company, understanding the growth prospects. So if I felt if I would be joining it despite if not clearing for civil services, then I thought I'll continue it. Otherwise, I wanted to give a full-fledged attempt in civil services without any other distractions so that I'll be able to crack it in the earliest of the attempts.
But with that background of a BTech,
yes, sir.
What attracts you to the civil services? And also you should have a look at the amount of money which government has spent in equipping you with a BTech. Don't you think it will all go waste?
So yes, sir. With respect to the skills which I have gained at my during my engineering, I am sure the expertise and the aptitude which I've gained there, and the immediate multitasking abilities or the kind of practical oriented training which I've got there, I'm sure I'll be able to implement them with respect to civil services, sir. And there has been another motivation behind it that ever since my childhood, I've had my mother speaking about how civil services create a very great impact and a diverse set of work. So this has been the twofold aim behind me choosing this career, sir.
Your mother is a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
In which field?
She's currently serving the central government, sir. She's a central government council. She handles various matters, railways, service matters, and various other matters.
And you had anthropology as your optional?
Yes, sir.
Telangana. Tell me something about the capital or capitals of Telangana.
So there is only one capital of Telangana. So it's the Hyderabad, and it is famous for the IT industry over there, and it has a huge pharma and biotech sector growing. And
good, but what's happening in the neighboring state in Andhra Pradesh?
Yes, sir. When the state was divided, they had Hyderabad as the common capital initially, and then the first government has decided Amravati to be the capital. However, later on, after 5 years in the change of government, they have come with a different three-capital formula, wherein Visakhapatnam, Amravati, and Kurnool were the three capitals: legislative, judiciary, and executive capitals, sir. So that is the thing going on.
You're fond of playing badminton?
Yes, sir.
Last year there were two very notable achievements, one in the doubles field and one in the field of teams. For the men's badminton team, can you recount anything? Do you remember anything of that kind?
Yes, sir. It's the Thomas Cup which we have won for the first time. And we also have Kidambi Srikanth and I'm not able to recall the other names, sir. Both of them from AP only have won medals in the tournaments.
It's not Kidambi Srikanth.
And individually, Lakshya Sen has got the 6th rank, sir, but that I didn't.
No, I was talking about a team event and a doubles combination bringing laurels to the country. You have not heard of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy?
Yes, sir. I couldn't recollect their names. Sorry.
And who is his partner? From Maharashtra, Mumbai, Chirag Shetty.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And what is the achievement last year in terms of rankings?
Sir, I'm unable
They
to
achieved the #1 ranking in the world, which is the first time an Indian doubles pair is doing that, right? Okay, you intend going to the civil services. Tell me something about the rule of law. What are the ramifications of the rule of law?
Sir, rule of law is about a system in place wherein any kind of execution is done by the government based on certain set of procedures, and the justice is not arbitrary and is based on certain established procedures. That is rule of law.
Okay, my last question. What is meant by a living will? Your mother being a lawyer, you might have heard of this.
Sir, I haven't heard of this, but if I can take a calculated guess, I think it is about writing a inheritance will while the person is alive. And
Obviously, you cannot write an
Yes.
inheritance will when you are dead.
yes,
No,
sorry,
you're
sir.
totally off target. I suggest you have a look at it later
Okay,
on.
sir, sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. How do I call you? Sahi or Sahi Darshini or Darshini?
So people around me have called me with all types. of
All
names.
times.
Yes.
But what's the usual? What does your mother call you?
My mother calls me Sahi, sir.
Sahi. Okay. So allow us the liberty of calling you Sahi.
Okay, sir. Thank
So
you.
that you feel more comfortable.
Sure, sir.
Okay. I see that you are interested both in civil engineering and transportation.
Yes, sir.
And you have studied at NIT Patna, which is right on the banks of River Ganges.
I'm sorry, sir. IIT Patna, sir.
IT Patna. Okay.
The NIT Patna is near Ganges.
Okay.
We stay 2 hours from the
2
Patna
hours,
city. Sir.
okay.
Yes.
But you are well aware that there are so many bridges which are being constructed over the Ganges
Yes, sir.
in Bihar, and each one of the bridges has faced a lot of problems.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So sometimes bridge collapse and all that. So why? Is it a kind of a bad quality of construction, bad monitoring, or bad design, or something which is related to very unique feature of that area in terms of civil engineering?
So I think it's a mixture of reasons. First thing, basically, it's in the seismic hazard zone. So the design has to be, when the design is being planned, it has to be taken, all those seismic design, it has to be basically earthquake resistant design. However, since the bridges have been built few years before, like in fact quite long before, so the efficient
The
measures.
bridges are new, no?
Yes,
And
sir.
a lot of them have collapsed.
Yes, sir. With respect to the newer
Even the Patna
bridges.
bridges collapsed.
Yes, sir. So with respect to the newer bridges, I think it is with respect to like the irregularities during construction, sir. One thing is that, and then proper monitoring has to be done with respect to the load which it is carrying and the regular
Related to
sense.
geophysical features of the river.
So there is the rivers which take, the course of the river keeps changing every now and then, sir, due to
Beyond
siltation
that?
issues. Sir, I think I have to read more
Okay.
about it, sir.
In terms of transportation planning, one of our cherished goal is to improve public transportation.
Yes, sir.
Because if we improve public transportation, we also achieve environmental sustainability.
Yes, sir.
You must have read all this.
Yes.
Delhi Transport Corporation is full in terms of its capacity of buses. Still, you see that in Delhi, private cars are so many numbers.
Yes.
It's choking. Delhi is choking, despite the fact that it is one of the widest roads in the whole of the world. Okay. So, what is the suggestion with regard to that?
So with respect to traffic congestion overall, I think we need to have first intelligent transportation systems having on, sir. Currently, we in most of the areas we have the fixed signaling systems. But
Fixed, sir?
fixed signaling systems, sir. Like even in the morning, is irrespective of the traffic density, the time for each signal, the red, green, and yellow, is fixed. So
Yeah, signaling.
yes, sir. Based on census, we should analyze the traffic density and accordingly change the signaling systems. And then we can have coordinated signaling systems, so based on peak hours and all. And overall, sir, I think we should reduce the number of cars running on the road with respect to.
I'm talking specifically of Delhi.
Yes.
So, from your knowledge, you must have stayed at least for some part of your life in
Yeah.
Delhi, and you must be aware of that.
Yes.
So, how can we improve that? We had this BRTS also, but that experiment failed. That has failed in Jakarta also. It has failed in Lagos also, Nigeria.
Sir, I think we can
So
have
if
a concept.
signaling, intelligent signaling is one of the system for public transportation, Lagos should not have paid, Jakarta should not have paid, Delhi should not have paid.
So I thought you were I'm sorry, sir. I thought you were asking about the regular traffic with respect to public transportation. Then I think we should have a
How can we
multi-transport.
improve public so that more and more people use public transportation?
So I think first thing with respect to the demand side, we should have there should be more cost on having a vehicle, sir. In the foreign countries, if we see, there is continuous maintenance charges which they have to pay for every year. Here, once we take the vehicle and at the end of 10 years or something, for you have to go for another check, then you pay charges. So it's more or less easier for people to have cars. That's the first thing. They have to make it costly for taking cars. And with respect to public transport networks, sir, I think we should have transit-oriented development, wherein multimodally there should be feeder buses to like metros and all.
Let me interrupt you here.
Yes.
Do you think that the government is a fool that doesn't know all these things? Okay. So why does it make private cars so costly? There must be some rationale because of it, government. Because government also wants that our people should breathe a normal air.
Yes. Sir, I think one is because of the Make in India initiatives where we have more automobile manufacturing pushed by the government. So we have to generate the market. We can't, like for investments to flow in, we can't have policies wherein we are restricting our market and the demand. So I think that is one of the reasons which is stopping government from taking.
Sahi, you come from Andhra?
Yes, Telangana.
That's Telangana now.
Yes, sir.
When did you arrive to Delhi?
So around 6 months ago, sir.
6 months. You're acclimatized to the Delhi weather.
Yes.
I was just wondering, it's so cold out here. You were comfortable?
I got used to the weather in Patna, sir. It was equally cold there while I was staying for 4 years.
Okay.
So
You
it got.
read today's newspaper?
I'm yet to read the day's newspapers. I read it generally at the
Yes, apparently we are
end of the
reading
days.
the newspaper and looking at the news, particularly the good discussion, the debates take place on national issues, international issues.
I do it, sir, generally at the end of the day, so that I have.
So when you are going for your interview next time, will you make sure that you read the papers
In the morning.
last night and last evening and then
Yes.
and the morning one,
Yes.
in case you happen to have an interview in the afternoon.
Yes, sure. Sir.
So that it is expected that you should be aware of surrounding events which is taking place at the same point of time. You know, some of the collectors actually take a report of their district. All local newspaper of a district, they collect every morning 8 o'clock. They take a brief as to what has been the events. So you'll have to be fully aware of what's happening around. Anyway, did you read yesterday's paper?
Yes, sir, I did.
What were the headlines? Which paper did you read?
I read the Hindu, sir.
Hindu. What was the headline?
Sir.
Anything you remember of yesterday? Some major event?
Yeah, the truck protests, sir.
Yes.
The truck, and then the Ayodhya inauguration and the.
That's been the whole story
Yeah.
going on and on.
And with respect to the Japanese flight.
Okay, let's talk about this. The major, the headlines were the judgment of the Supreme Court on Adani's.
Yes, sir, yes.
What
Hindenburg.
issue, and what was the issue which was being done by the Supreme Court and what was the final verdict?
So the issue has been with respect to the Hindenburg report, which they have released on Adani's certain misinterpretations or like some malfunction with respect to the Adani's audit mechanism, which has been released before. And Hindenburg has as this mechanism of short selling of shares, wherein they buy. So in this the whole fiasco has been done last year, and with respect to SEBI's intervention in it, the case has been put up in the Supreme Court, wherein the Supreme Court has said that the regulatory authority has done 22 out of 24 checks which it was supposed to do, and it takes, and overall with respect to the stock market's volatility, it has stated that it has remained in parallel with the global, the volatility has been similar with respect to the global one too. And with respect to, I think it was mostly regarding the SEBI's role, sir, which they have said it has been up to the mark.
All right. You had chosen anthropology as your subject.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how is anthropology and psychology connected to each other? Are they connected by any?
Sir, anthropology is a study of humans, and there are various theorists in anthropology like Levi-Strauss and Malinowski who have studied the psychological nature of humans and tried to evolve a common universal law which governs humans in general with respect to their behaviors. So they wanted to bring up a law where like understand the mind structures on how one responds to different situations so that they could understand the reason behind different customs all around the world.
Okay. My last question. What's the color which is quite prevalent and well advocated now?
Orange.
Everywhere you go in, whether you are in business or you're a bureaucrat or you're a politician, everybody talks about one particular color. But anyway, I don't want to speculate. It's a world of green.
Okay.
Everything green revolution, green mining, green building, green fuel.
Yes.
So let's have some discussion on green now. You understand what is green mining or engineer?
So green mining in general has a lot of environmental consequences, and hence green mining is more to make it more sustainable and use efficient technologies. Like mining in general has a lot of water usage, sir, and water is a very important precious resource. So in using technology, if we can reduce the amount of water usage, or with respect to blastings, when we do a lot of blasting, there's a lot of air pollution and health hazard to the people around also. So using certain technologies wherein we can reduce these external effects of mining, that would be termed as green mining.
And what is green fuel?
So green fuels are like the ones which have reduced emissions of greenhouse gases, or completely if we can
No,
eliminate
they-
the greenhouse gases
No,
emission.
that's the other side. How are they made? What is essentially a green fuel?
So green fuel is mostly waste from either waste or renewable sources of energy, like the biofuels with
Yes,
respect to agricultural
biofuels are
waste.
actually
Yes,
green fuels.
yes, sir.
Coming off
Like
plants.
ethanol, and genetically engineered plants which can be used to make fuels.
Okay, the last question again on the green.
Okay, sir.
What is greenwashing?
So greenwashing is not recent, so but a practice by most of the corporations wherein they are disguised, in a way they are marketing in such a way that their products are green and eco-friendly. However, they are not necessarily adhering to all the environment protocols which they should be. So it's a marketing technique by most of the major
And what has
companies.
the government done to check greenwashing?
So I need to read about it, sir. I'm not aware.
That's read it. BIS is taking care of all this.
Okay,
And
sir.
certification is issued
Okay, sir.
of a green product
Okay, sir.
so that they don't go for a greenwashing technique.
Greenwashing. Okay, sir.
Right? What person to be lady member?
Sally, how are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Sally, you've done an undergraduate research fellowship at North Carolina University. Did you go there?
Yes, sir.
How long did you stay?
Sorry.
For 4 months, ma'am.
4 months.
Yes.
How was the experience?
It was good, ma'am. Quite enriching experience.
This was how many years back?
This was in my 3rd year of my graduation, ma'am.
Third
It
year
was
of
in
graduation.
2019.
So, how did you find the American university system? Did you get a chance to
Yeah.
see it properly? And
Yes, ma'am. I was staying in the university itself. It was the first thing which I've noticed there is it was a more decentralized system of working, ma'am. And everybody has a chance and equal chance to put up their ideas, and they were very well funded. And most of the projects which the government is doing, it does take a regular consultation of the department there. And I had the opportunity to work in the transportation wing, wherein the North Carolina Department of Transportation had various projects which they have been doing with consultation of the transportation department of NCSU there. So there is a more practical oriented research and more applicable, more feasible, and resources, I think was a major change which I've seen, major difference which I've seen there, ma'am, as compared to the Indian universities. They had well-funded ecosystem.
So a lot of US universities also get get a lot of funding from private sector
Yes, ma'am.
for
Yes.
research. They get funding from city councils and all.
Yes.
So what did you feel about it, especially since you're coming from a technical and applied sciences field?
Yes.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. When there is more industry academia collaboration, there is more practical nature to the research which is associated, ma'am. Rather than just remaining in the books, there is more utility, and we can actually think of ways in which it can be materialized, and instead of just being in the books.
You've also done MUN
Yes, ma'am.
from college, university?
Yes, ma'am, in the university.
So what role did you have?
I was a delegate, ma'am.
For which country?
I was representing France.
You're representing France. Okay. So interesting. And which committee did you do?
It was a general UNGA meeting.
UNGA
UNGA
meeting.
meeting.
So India keeps talking about reforms in the UN system.
Yes.
Basically, what is the crux of what India says?
Ma'am, what India says is, with respect to the when UN was formed, the global order was different. While now the dynamics of the world is changing, India with a population such high, largest population in the world, with almost 1 in every 7 people being an Indian, what India says is the major representation of the UNSC has to be, India should be in there, so that it would be more representative of the order, and mostly the members in the P5 of the UNSC are representing global north, ma'am. So to be able to voice out the global south and the majority of the population, and the future century is called the Asian century, and most of the problems, to give a voice to those issues, I think India vocally supports its own membership in the UNSC, ma'am.
So why should we really care about the UN? If you look at all the previous conflicts and even the conflicts now going on, other than issuing resolutions, what does the UN do? I mean, is the UN of any use at all?
Ma'am, UN is definitely of use because it is the only body which still has the representation of all the countries in the world, ma'am. And just the hope that all the countries are coming there is ensured representation of everybody's issues, and the world together can find out solutions for it. And ma'am, barring the Russia-Ukraine war or the Israel previously major conflicts have been like it. I believe it was because of the UN that major conflicts haven't taken place until the last war has happened. And UN has
For example?
I'm like there has been no major war which has taken place, and that is what I have tried to tell. And it has various allied organizations also, UN. So it does take care of needs of developing countries. It funds various resources, and it does skill development campaigns. So I think technology transfer gets easier, multilateral cooperation gets easier. That I think is the utility of UN, ma'am. And with structural reforms being made, I'm sure it will be only more relevant in future years to
So
come.
you mentioned about India giving voice to, being the voice of the
Global South.
Yes. What does it mean exactly?
Ma'am, Global South is mostly referring to those countries which are developing and less developed countries, which have their unique set of problems, be it with respect to the environmental emissions. They have not contributed much to the pollution, but they still are bearing the brunt of it. And with respect to food security, they have different challenges as compared to the developed countries, ma'am. So while the developing world has issues of infrastructure development, the developed countries have issues of maintenance. So given this difference of issues, India as a voice of Global South wants to represent these issues at the forum and seek more cooperation from the developed world with respect to funds or technology transfer, or restraining them with respect to the usage of their trade restrictive practices. So India wants a common consensus. India aims to find a solution for these problems.
Thank you.
Thank you.
SAHI,
Yes.
PV Sindhu,
Yes.
Kidambi Shrikant, P. Govichan.
Yes.
Apart from badminton, what do these people have in common?
All of them are from Telangana, sir. Yes.
What is it? The beer, the water, or the biryani? Why Hyderabad became a badminton hub? Can you give me 4 reasons?
So the first thing, I guess, having the role models from Telangana itself is a boost to many parents who see them in the local lane. So they encourage their students to go for sports. And there is this Pullali Gopichand Academy also. Their proper infrastructure facilities have been set up, sir. So 2 main reasons. And the rest, sir, in general, I think the education system also encourages good amount of curriculum, like extracurricular activities and these. And sir, I think these are the reasons I want to recall.
Can you tell me the process of state bifurcation?
It's a process of.
State bifurcation.
Sir, it is done by the Parliament based on Article 3 of the Constitution, which says that it can divide any states or merge with a resolution passed in the Parliament.
What's your opinion on freebies? Recently, there have been free buses for women in Telangana.
Yes.
In Delhi, also you might have heard. What's your opinion on that?
So I think there is two different types of freebies. One which is more welfare oriented and one is more politicized freebies. I would support the welfare oriented ones, sir, because they are more immediate measures to elevate people from poverty or give them enough measures to have a decent standard of living. But the politicized ones, sir, are a burden on the state exchequer and will have long-term externalities. And hence I would not support the ones which are only based on vote bank, but I would support the freebies which are given, like the bicycles given for girl children, which have shown that they have increased their enrollment ratio in the schools. So I think there needs to be a proper study with respect to their effects, and I would support the ones which have positive outcomes.
Very interesting. Thank you, Sahi.
Thank you, sir.
So that brings us to the end of our formal interaction, Sahi.
Okay.
We'll give you detailed feedback, but prior to that, your self-assessment. This is your first interview?
Yes, sir, it's my first mock interview, sir.
Your first mock also?
First mock, sir. First mock and first interview.
Okay, and when is your interview?
In the second phase, sir.
Second phase. So how do you think you performed?
Sir, I think I need to read a little more to be able to be confident in my presentation. And I think with respect to the terminology I have used, I should be more polished and more to the point and crisp. I feel like I've repeated a few points in some of the conversations.
Well, the good news, Sahi, is that you're an extremely promising candidate. You have lots of time, which you can leverage in your favor.
Okay, sir.
You have lots of strengths, which you can leverage in your favor.
Okay.
You have a pleasant personality and you're articulate. You're reasonably aware of what's happening around. You have a reasonably sound knowledge base. You have a good DAF, which gives plenty of questions would be coming your way from that itself. Now, having said all that, you need to recognize that this is not a test of knowledge. I think you're too keen to give answers to every question which is put to you, regardless of the fact whether you know the answer or not. Okay. And that can be a deal breaker at times.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Beware of that.
Okay, sir.
Living will. You went completely off track.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I should have restrained.
What is a living will? It is a will executed by a person who wants to indicate that when he or she is no longer in a position to do so because of medical exigency, what are the types of medical alternatives which are to be used?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So, for instance, whether or not he or she can be put for a ventilator when they are brain dead, that kind of situation.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You took it to be a normal will, and
Yes.
that way it was. If you don't know about it, then just indicate that you need to read up on that.
Yes.
Right? And you see, questions are likely to come from three sources. One is your DAF, one is current events, and one is your subject. These are the main areas. So what you do is now, since you have plenty of time and you have to make good use of your time,
Sure.
you have also to see that this heaven-sent opportunity does not elude you, does not slip from your grasp.
Sure.
You will only have yourself to blame because you have all the attributes needed to make a good officer. So take about 100 of these A4 size sheets, build up a question bank,
Yes.
possible questions, and then do a deep dive on each question, get a full idea of that particular topic, and then reduce it to 5 or 6 bullet points
Okay, sir.
in order of priority.
Okay.
And then practice before a mirror.
Okay, sir.
So when I said that this is not a test of knowledge per se, it's a test of your officer-like abilities.
Okay, sir.
So integrity is first. So don't guess and don't try and bluff at any point of time because they're very seasoned officers sitting beside. They'll catch you out.
Yes.
So what else is being looked at? Your ability to think clearly, concisely, logically, present everything in a lucid manner.
Yes.
Your self-confidence, your poise. Sometimes, you just cannot predict, of course, the trajectory of the interview. You may be going very smoothly and all of a sudden a roadblock and they'll test. Sometimes they'll throw a roadblock in your way
Okay, sir.
just to test whether you have that poise. So once that is done, just forget about it and move on to the next question.
Okay.
Any question from your side?
So, I think your feedback I understood, sir. And with respect to my, how am I sitting and...
For that, I'll ask my colleague.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Are you cold?
No, ma'am.
We are feeling cold seeing you in
Yeah.
such an
I'm
attire.
enough tensed because it's my first week, so I was a
good
little...
rest, no?
Yes.
You should not feel cold because I think it is still very cold
Okay.
when
Yeah, that's
you
what
have
I
it.
asked you. I said, are you all right? Coming from Andhra, and
We
she
normally have a
said, "I'm
advantage
very
of attachments. We also used to wear very light clothes, even in the winters in Dehradun, Missouri. So I'm very used to this. But I just add to what Sir has said. Okay. He has very lightly guided you on all the things. Just emphasizing one more point is that people may ask you supplementary questions
Okay.
on the answers you have already given. They will pick one of the phrases which you have used
Yes.
and they will try to put a roadblock as Sir mentioned, no? Just to test how much poised, how much rational, how much great thinker you are. Okay? And at that time, you have to be very, very calm, thinking, and if you are not able to answer very clearly, just excuse yourself.
Okay, sir.
No, that's really fine. Except that I did hear your good afternoon or good evening. You were so maybe so nervous or something. So I actually missed out the
Sorry, sir.
good evening
Actually,
part.
I just realized it. I came immediately and I entered the...
That's all right. That's all right. I'll
Sorry,
get
sir.
that.
Sorry.
So when you do enter in the interview room, you first have to wish the lady member if there's one,
Yes.
and then you do not individually have to wish everybody.
Yeah.
No.
Wish the chairman and nod in. You say good evening or whatever it is, good morning or good evening sirs or good afternoon sirs, and just nod at the others.
Okay, sir.
That's the protocol.
Okay, sir.
But don't be in too much of a rush.
Yes.
You were in too much of a rush to sit down also. Just stand there, wait for instructions. You'll get the instructions. Yes.
Yes.
Patience is.
Remember, it's your personality which is on test,
Yes.
and you have to make a very good impression from the time you enter.
Yes.
In fact, the first entry itself, is very important from that viewpoint.
Sure.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.